Lossett on your right and Tom Smiley on your left. It's Deathblade and Miracles here in round number 14 from Baltimore. These players will be given the green light here in just a moment. We will be underway. Remember, 2 rounds left, and then we will be heading over to our quarterfinals where you get to decide who we're going to watch. So make sure you are a member of the feature match area so you can do that. Also get some custom emoticons and badges to use and all that fun stuff. I know a lot of people are happy to be able to chat on Twitch during the tournament, so we're happy to be able to bring that to you guys. And now we watch Joe Lossett do what he does best, which is play Miracles. As you see behind Joe, you've got Daryl Ayers and Jim Davis doing battle.
Yeah, I love the voting for the top 8 match.
Yeah, a lot of people have enjoyed that, so I'm glad that people like that.
Yeah,
it's a pretty cool feature.
Just makes too much sense, right?
Yeah. It was it's actually kind of tough to put into place. We had to design a program to be able to put that in place. We have some really smart programmers at Star City. So,
and you're one of them, right?
No, God, heavens no. I just know what I want to exist, and I ask someone if it can exist, and if they say yes, I do that thing.
Yeah, can you magically create this thing?
Yeah.
That's basically what it is.
Because I can't do that. No. It's a wonder, to me, I don't understand how people can draw things. It's like I have an idea in my head, and I'm going to put this on a paper, and it's going to look really good. Like, I can't do that. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I'm looking at a picture of Nissa right now. Not in a million billion years could I do that. Ever.
Well, we've talked about some of the more wonky, zany decks that show up sometimes.
Yeah, the person who thought of Lantern.
Like, yeah. And that's so much closer to what we do.
Yeah.
We play Magic all the time.
Yeah.
We see all sorts of weird strategies. We read all the cards. Never could come up with the Lantern deck.
Never.
No.
I'm playing Magic for almost 20 years. Not in a million years would I've ever come up with that deck. I probably couldn't even trace that Nissa well.
Uh-oh.
Let alone draw it.
Looks like Joe just got punked by the 1 mana stone rain.
Stifled? All right. I wonder how many lands Joe has left. We'll see. All right, Smiley. Stoneforge. This is a good start for Tom. Sword of Fire and Ice. Joe going to write that down.
So one of these players has a lot more permanence than the other player now.
You are right. And Aaron Mesa, I think, is going to search for a basic plains here for Joe. We might see Swords to Plowshares. Given that Tom has a wasteland, don't really think Joe wants to search for for a tundra. All right, it's going to be Volcanic Island. He's going to be.
He needs the blue source.
I guess. He'll be down to the land here in a minute. All right, Ponder. His hand might just stink.
Yeah, the Arid Mesa can't search for the basic island, so he needs a blue source.
Pretty quick shuffle here for Joe. I think maybe the plan for Joe was a Flooded Strands, sack that, get a basic island, cast a Ponder, get things going, use the Arid Mesa, get a basic plains.
For sure.
Mystery card here off Ponder. All right, pass. Smiley will untap. He'll draw a card. It's a Deathrite Shaman. This is a Brainstorm. 3 cards on the way here for Tom. Tropical Island and Swords to Plowshares among them. Third one's a Stoneforge Mystic.
Yeah, I think he was looking for that 3rd land there. He had another copy of Stoneforge Mystic, so if he wants to shuffle away these cards, he can.
There's your Wasteland. There's your Trop. Here is your Deathrite Shaman. Here's your attack for 1. Tom Smiley's doing pretty good.
He's just putting the screws to Joe here.
Yeah, he certainly is. Basic Plains. Pass the turn back. Tom Smiley might be a familiar name for some people out there. He did win the Modern Open at the Invitational.
And that was a Batter Skull. It's always nice when you search for one of the equipment and you get to surprise your opponent with a different one.
Activate. Batter Skull. Germ token on the way. For Joe, his Cavern of Souls named Wizard. Wizards. That's from a commercial. Not a movie, right?
I believe it's from a
commercial. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I remember it now. Batter Skull's going to come across here. Joe is in a, I would classify it as trouble.
He's fallen behind in this game.
I would classify him as being in trouble right now. Going to sacrifice the Scalding Tarn.
The game's not completely over.
He's going to really hope he doesn't get stifled, which he didn't. Miracles has gotten out of stickier situations than this.
Yeah, a timely terminus would put him, not winning the game, but back in a competitive position.
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet. The stifle can stop the miracle trigger on terminus.
This is a Snapcaster Mage. Uncounterable, thank you much. And now Joe will ponder. Is he on the hunt for something like a terminus? That's the question. Well, he's going to shuffle.
Yeah, I think Joe's in this unenviable position where he's on the hunt for everything. He needs to keep making land drops every turn, which he might not have the lands that he needs. He needs to find a terminus. He would love to find a brainstorm if he had a terminus in hand, put it back on top of the deck. But he only gets to draw one card a turn.
All right, there's a Sword of Fire and Ice. See where this is going to go. It's going to go on to the Germ token.
The Germ gets it all.
So now it's pro blue, pro red. Oh, Vigilance, and if the sword connects, which it will, going to deal some damage. So this is not a great spot here for Joe. Stoneforge Mystic is going to be blocked, by Snapcaster Mage. So those two 2-mana creatures will trade. Lossett falls down to 4. He'll draw. Brainstorm. And a 1, a 2, a 3. Can Lossett get himself out of this sticky situation?
It's not looking good right now.
No.
It looked like Tom had a Daze and a Force of Will on the other side.
Pretty good spot to be in.
Although yesterday we were talking about players with Daze, Force of Will against an opponent who had no board, being in a good spot.
Yep. We were wrong.
Yeah.
There's Flooded Strand. We were so wrong. Excuse me, not Basic Plane. It's going to be a Tundra, which I'm going to stop calling a Taiga. So those cards are very different.
Yeah, they're about the same, right?
Ponder. 1, 2, 3. Shuffle.
Yeah, right now it's Swords to Plowshares. Swords to Plowshares are nothing for Joe.
Yep. I think it's Swords and Hope a little bit here. Yep, we're all done. Tom Smiley going to win game number 1 here over Joe Lossett. Deathblade up a game over Miracles. That Stifle, pretty good.
Yeah, Stifle into Wasteland.
Yeah.
When Joe could only search for the non-basic if he wanted to cast his blue spells.
Pretty gosh darn good there.
Yeah, that's
Tom
the dream.
Smiley. Yeah. Sideboards. We'll start with Joe here. He's got 3 Flusterstorms, 2 Red Elemental Blast, 2 Back to Basics, 2 Moat, 2 Surgical Extraction, a Wear Terror Kozilek's Return, an Engineer Explosives, and a Pyroblast. So we have Tom Smiley's deck list in front of us.
Yeah.
But we're going to play the role of Joe Lossett here. In that game, he saw a Stifle. He saw a Stoneforge Mystic. He saw a Deathrite Shaman. A couple of different lands that lead you to believe it's probably a Deathblade deck. Batterskull Sword. And didn't get to see any of the permission, but you assume.
Yes.
Force of Will. Maybe don't assume Daze. So based off of that.
I think once you see Stifle and Wasteland, it's easy to put the opponent on a Daze.
Okay.
Like, these are kind of a mana denial package that go together.
Okay. All right, so easy to, let's assume that he has Daze too.
Sure.
He draws the same conclusion as you. How do you want to sideboard it for Joe?
I think it's still a tough spot. The real question is, does he have Delver of Secrets in this deck? That might be what Joe is asking himself. He didn't see one, but it felt like kind of a Delver strategy.
Okay.
We know that he does not have Delver, and that a card like Moat would be super good against him. So I think Joe's going to bring in some Moats here. But maybe if he thinks that's more of a Delver strategy, maybe he thinks the games are going to go kind of quick. He doesn't bring in both Moats.
Any chance Back to Basics?
back to basics would be backbreaking. The thing, if he brings in 2 moats, does he want to bring in 2 back to basics? The Kozilek's return seems like it might be pretty strong. It's a question of, does he feel like he can over sideboard, end up with clunky hands that don't do enough?
That is going to be a concern. It's going to be interesting to see how he goes about this, given the limited number of cards that he saw in the first game.
Yeah.
He's going to have to make some assumptions here, but he does know Legacy very well. As we take a look at Smiley's sideboard of 2 Abrupt Decay, 2 Zealous Persecution, 2 Meddling Mage, 2 Surgical Extraction, 2 Path to Exile, a Containment Priest, an Aethersworn Canoness, the Flusterstorm, a Crozen Grip, and the monster of the mid-range, a Gideon ally of Zendikar.
Oh, we might see that, Gideon.
I think so.
These are the slower controlling matchups where you're going to want it. The Abrupt Decays and the Crozen Grips are obviously going to be great against counterbalance, so I expect to see those cards come in. Getting back to Joe, it's very likely he brings in the Wear and Tear to fight some of the equipment. The Engineered Explosives is pretty versatile, so that probably comes in as well. So he has a lot of options.
Well, this will be interesting to see how these players do sideboard, and as they do get ready for game number 2, we'll talk about the StarCityGames.com Invitational Qualifier Program, where your local store can opt to host these. All you have to do is get in touch with Star City Games to do as much, and our in-store programs representatives. For right now, exclusive prizes include invitational qualifications, playmats, top 8 pins, invitational winner tokens, and SCG Premium vouchers. And we'll have some changes to that program for 2017, which were announced by President of Star City Games, Pete Hoffling, on Monday. Go to starcitygames.com/IQ for more information.
We need to get some updated tokens in that graphic.
You don't like the Max Infinity tokens?
I didn't say that.
Oh, you just like to see different ones then?
I didn't say that either.
Well, you said we need to update them.
Yeah, we have a more recent winner who has a token.
We do have Liam Lonergan.
Yeah.
Okay, so you like the Liam Lonergan tokens in there.
No, I just don't want to see clue tokens.
You just don't want to see any more clue tokens from our Season 1 Invitational champion, Max Infinity. Which is, that's, I don't know why you're giving me that look. That's his title.
No, that
is his title.
Just, it's a little too soon, Cedric.
Okay. It's
maybe next year.
It's been 7 months. 6? No, 7. 7.
A little soon.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's still raw.
I'm sorry. I do apologize. Joe Lossett will be on the play. It'll be harder to stifle him now. I do wonder if Tom even kept Stifle in.
Yeah, that's a pretty common one to side out.
Yeah. Once they see it.
Well, like you said, when you're on the draw, it gets much worse. Once they've seen it, it's a good bit worse.
An island here from Lossett to start things off as both players will keep their opening hands. Polluted Delta here from Smiley. I wish Joe had a Stifle.
Yeah, if Joe could stifle him back, how great would that be?
That'd be fantastic.
Blue-black source, so we're probably going to see a death right here.
That's the name of the game. Deathrite Shaman. Do you see Ben Friedman behind Joe? The hat is back.
And the jacket just completes the ensemble.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. The Ben Friedman yesterday was an imposter. The real Ben Friedman is back. Here's another island, and we're going to see counterbalance. To Tom Smiley we go. Tropical Island, the draw.
Well, it looks like he has that Abrupt Decay in his hand. If he's that worried, he can get the counterbalance off the board. I might be kind of interested in just jamming a 3-drop here.
True Nemesis, perhaps?
Yeah.
Some of the tough decisions you have to make when you're playing against counterbalance, especially when they don't have a top. It's this big guessing game.
Yeah. Well, there's not a whole lot of 3-drops over in that deck.
All right, go for broke. Trigger.
Oh. Look at, oh yeah, Tom, that's just so.
Not a whole lot of 3-drops in that deck.
Yeah.
Whammy.
Yeah, there it is.
And now Engineered Explosives. This game's taking a turn. We're going to go over to Tom now. He has a Wasteland. All right, he'll waste the Tundra. Pass with an Abrupt Decay. We'll go over to Joe. He's drawn a Plains. He'll play a Plains, pass the turn back. Do we want our Abrupt Decay? Yeah, we're going to Abrupt Decay on the enter turn. Goodbye, Counterbalance. Back to Tom Smiley.
It's too late. The job's been
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
Oh.
Here's a Stoneforge Mystic.
Yeah, that's such a punch in the gut when things like that happen.
It feels horrible every time. And if you're the Counterbalance player, all you can do is smile and laugh. That's it.
Yeah. Well, you know, how many 3-drops does Joe have in his deck after his sideboards?
Yeah, that's the question, right?
You know, maybe 3 of them.
Yeah, he's obviously got at least one Entreaty Angels, maybe some number of Vendilion Clicks, maybe back to basics.
Maybe the Kozilek's return.
Yeah. I mean, not a lot.
Not a lot.
No matter what.
But you know it's going to be there just waiting on top.
Oh, yeah. Stoneforge Mystic got a Sword of Fire and Ice as we head back over to Lossett. Oh, there's another 3-drop Vendilion Click.
Yeah, goodbye sword.
Yeah. Maybe not.
Yeah, and we've seen this earlier in the weekend with Joe where he's like, hey, you got to tell me if it's resolving and then let me pick the target.
Yeah, Vendilion Click is such a weird card because most people expect to be targeted by it, but Joe actually targets himself a lot with it, and a lot of people are just, so once it resolves, they assume they're being targeted by it, so they immediately put their hand down. And Joe actually just targeted himself on his main phase to say, I'm trying to find a 4th land, most likely. And he wasn't able to find one.
Well, the Entreat the Angel's not doing much in his hand.
Garbage.
It's got to go back into the deck so it can counter a 3-drop off of the Counterbalance later in the game.
That's correct. Now, Tom Smiley is going to sacrifice this Flooded Strand. I think he's going to search for another white source of mana.
Yep.
And he's going to play a Gideon.
Big Gideon.
And it's funny, right? We're playing Legacy in a format where you can die on turn number 1. You can be locked out of the game by the 2nd or 3rd turn. And now we've got a standard staple being cast. And it's really, really good in matchups like this.
It's not just a standard staple. It's a great mid-rangey Planeswalker. That's the key.
Yeah.
In the more grindy matchups, the Planeswalkers are king.
Gideon, ally of Zendikar, looking to take over against Miracles right now. There is a Knight ally. We might even see Stoneforge Mystic want to come across here. Maybe not. No, just going to hang back. Let's go back over to Lossett. He'll draw. Moat. It's going to be good if that resolves.
Yep. But again, Joe is cramped on lands here.
Gideon down to 1 from the Vendilion Click. Force of Will to draw there for Tom Smiley. Follow-up. Going to activate Stoneforge, to put Sword on the battlefield. Equip the Sword, plus the Gideon. Rumble in the Jungle. Lossett is going to take it all.
Yeah, and it's games like this that are the argument for playing the more proactive strategies. You know, if your opponent misses any land drops, if they don't have just the right answers, you know, you really just jump out way ahead.
Well, Joe is in horrible shape now.
Yeah.
End of turn. Snapcaster Mage.
Okay.
Well, with Tom setting that card down like that, he has certainly revealed that he has Force of Will.
Well, yeah, the Snapcaster Mage is going to be able to attack and finish off the Planeswalker next turn, which is what Tom would like to stop.
There's Force, removing a Brainstorm. Last card in hand for Tom is a Flusterstorm.
Unfortunately, if the moat comes down,
that is it.
That is it.
Brainstorm. Joe was hoping to peel that white source remote.
Yeah.
Now he's got a Brainstorm. Flusterstorm. All right, Joe says, I got to pay. I don't have a choice. 1, 2, 3. Terminus is among those cards, and that is going to do it. Tom Smiley is going to win this match here over Joe Lossett, 2-0. Bant Deathblade will take care of Miracles, and for Tom Smiley, he moves on to 12-2.
Yep.
And he's a lock for top 8. Congratulations to him.